green leaves in the fruit. So the largest part of the pattern is actually, they look the same there, but the largest portion of the pattern, I'll just say lengthiest part of the pattern, is right here in the middle, okay? And this is where teaching occurred. It was a teaching priesthood. I forgot, now you remind me, I forgot Messiah teaching daily in the temple. Okay, so that's the lengthiest part of the pattern. Just like this. See that tree? Got to be made by that. Has to be made that way. Now up here, and it's green in the summer, and even to some extent spring and fall till the nights get too cold. This is where it most abides and basks in the sun. That goes to your most holy place. Yahweh abode in the most holy place. It is in the book, Exodus, Leviticus 16 and 2. It's in the book. Yahweh abode in the most holy place. And he's shown right across here in the most holy place. And by the way, you don't see what he looks like up here. Down here he's shown after Pentecost. That's where he's shown. Okay, so up here they bask in the sun. And what are those things doing? They are gathering sunlight through their cells, and it seems abstract to us, but not to Yahweh. There's a miraculous, it's not miraculous, scientists can explain it, but to the onlooker, a miraculous process of the sunlight's rays are converted through photosynthesis to food. What? Those of you that have been around here, we're coming and we're learning. Are we learning in our leg?
No.
We're learning in our chest.
No.
We're learning in our most holy place. That's where the eyes and ears are. And a little bit of something in the noggin is in the most holy place. The info that is provided to listeners down here from these plates, these threefold plates, the info that is provided is it's pure sunlight because it's Yahweh's words from his writings, from his vision. That food is converted. And the guy peeking in the window or whatever, he doesn't see anything happening in anybody. Don't see a thing. Just like I can't see photosynthesis happening when I stare at the leaves. Well, I don't see anything happening up there. Just looks like green leaves to me. But hidden from view, that sunlight is converted to food. See how he works right by the pattern? He keeps a tree alive by his pattern. He keeps us alive by his pattern. And Yahweh functions in whatever he does according to his pattern. That's how he functions. Anytime we say, well, I wonder what he's doing, we can check the pattern and we'll get a little bit of a handle on it. We won't understand all of it, but we'll understand something, which goes right, forget that verse, which goes right back to why I said, you get peace coming down here and being schooled at Yahweh's school. You get some peace. You got some peace around here, Chris? I'm just going to put you on the hot spot. You got any peace around here?
Absolutely.
You have? Wow, isn't that amazing? How many times have we ever put our hand out and say, I want some money, Chris?
No.
Oh, nobody's ever done that?
No.
Oh. He keeps on coming. He keeps right on coming. He's getting something out of it, some kind of peace. When you were, I'm sorry to pick on one person, but we could go right around the room and do this stuff. I'm going to get off and move on on and take my seat. Have you received, no, never mind, I got another. Okay. Now, this is a school, we come here to learn, we don't come here to socialize, we can do that because we love each other.
Right,
But that's not why we come.
right.
We have a wonderful singer back here, we come, oh, I got to get down there and hear that music. None of that, and I'm relating to things that happen at church, right? Right. Now, I said that he does not change. Anything he does, he has always done. If he taught anybody in the law and the prophets, what does the Messiah have to do? He must teach.
Yeah.
No way around it. Or is that the Messiah?
That's right.
Luke 19:47, and he taught daily in the temple.
Oh, he taught daily in the temple. And if he were to go on, or possibly it's in another
Luke
book.
21:37, and in the daytime he was teaching in the temple, and at night he went out and abode in the mount that is called the Mount of Olives.
Yeah, he taught a lot. And there's another place in there, it says, he astounded the rabbis. Who were the rabbis? The so-called teachers,
That's right.
who were being paid. He astounded them. Okay? I think I wanted one more thing and I forgot what it is. So the best thing to do is take a seat and hope that someone is glad they came and I'm going to say this. Again, I'm not going to back it up. You stick around, you'll find out. When you start to get your eyes open, when you start to think this is a place to come to, that is when Satan will go on you hard. That's his job. And tell you, don't you go down there anymore. And give you many reasons in here, right here, talking to us in our own voice. And give us many reasons ought not come down here anymore. Because he does not want people to learn about Yahweh. When they learn about Yahweh, it goes with the territory. You'll see the boy that's the opposer right along with it. And I'll take my seat, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you, Howard. For our next speaker, it's a pleasure to call upon Brittany Saxon. Saxton? It's an E.
Thank you. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Super happy to be here. Grateful that I have the opportunity to be and know anything and hopefully be able to convey something that I bring down here. Enjoyed myself thus far. So, just begin with a brief testimony. I was mostly brought up in the teaching. My grandmother, well, really, just the Holy Spirit that brought me here, that brought all of us here. Can I get many are called for me? Had family that was in class, so I was brought to class, dragged by my ear, reluctantly kicking and screaming the whole time, several times. And it was back when Hornell was at the Arkport Class in the Almond Grange, and all I really remember about it was the screaming and crying happening, you know, because that was when, and then I'm like, I don't want to go back. Like, why are we yelling? Why is everyone so upset? I didn't want to be there. And it was because we probably weren't supposed to be, you know. It was a bad place. Everything happens according to the plan, and it wasn't a bad place. It just went bad. Okay, take it back. Sorry. Anyway, so, you know, in and out of class, you know, you follow your own cloud for the longest time, you do what you think you need to do, and what I'm doing is this and more important, and then finally, if it happens, you get to come down here and you get kept, and you're in that safe place. How did you say that? Anyway, all right, go ahead there, George.
22 and 14 of Matthew. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Many are called, few are chosen. That goes about what the previous speaker was talking about. You know, it weeds people out. These names weed out the. So we'll start there. Something that really got me was the principle of water. And let's go ahead and get unity, a couple of unity verses if we can. So Yahweh is pure spirit. That's what it says in the moderation, right? And in this pure spirit state, he is incomprehensible and inscrutable. He is the ultimate source, substance, limits, and bounds of everything.
Right.
What's outside of that?
No.
Nothing. Nothing. So, in order for him to make himself known to us, as these humans that we are right now, he had to break himself down into this word, or the vision that the previous speaker was going into. So this is Yahweh, pure spirit, incomprehensible, inscrutable, the creator, right? In this form, he can take on any form he wants. He's the only thing that can do that. Go ahead, George.
Zechariah 14 and 9. And Yahweh shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Yahweh and his name one.
One Yahweh and his name one. Go ahead, get another one.
Deuteronomy 64.
That's the one.
Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, is one Elohim.
Is one Elohim. Can you get unity in the
Or
dictionary?
unity.
Unity in the dictionary, please. So Yahweh 1, Yahweh pure spirit. Yahweh 2, when he breaks himself down to come into his superincorporeal form to manifest to people in visions the word of Yahweh. Okay? And then he breaks himself down even further. So Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. And he comes in a physical body to die so that we might live. How awesome is that? So, what do you got for me?
Unity.
Yep.
The state of being united or joined as a whole.
As a whole, okay?
A thing forming a complex whole.
A complex, all these, I mean, like the previous speaker was saying, we can come here for 50 years and just get like a tiniest pinhole of what Yahweh has to offer us. And that's why it's so important to come here now, because that's what we're hoping to go on to. I get emotional. Go ahead.
The origin comes from the Latin, which means one.
One Yahweh.
A definite. Oh, no, it's not
So this is the piece we get.
Another verse.
Go ahead.
Isaiah 43 and 11. I, even I, am Yahweh, and besides me there is no Savior.
There is no Savior besides Yahweh. Okay.
I have more too.
Go for it.
A condition of harmony.
Condition of harmony. What? Peace, harmony. Let's keep going with these nice words here.
Continuity without deviation or change, as in purpose or action.
Continuity. Read that louder, please.
Continuity without deviation
Without
or
deviation.
change.
Without deviation or change. Previous speaker, he doesn't change. And how comforting is that to know? You don't have to worry about whether he's going to be this one day and this the other day. Come on. It's awesome. And this is the piece. Can you get my yoke is easy?
Matthew 11:29.
And this is why we come. Because the world is crazy and it's going to break you down, just like she got into. The closer you get to Yahweh, the more stuff's going to come at you. But you don't have to worry. Oh, I'm going to need armor too.
Matthew 11:29.
Yeah.
Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls.
There's another one that I want. Learn my yoke
For
is easy.
my yoke is
Oh, sorry.
easy, and my burden is light.
For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. You don't have to worry about carrying big backpacks around and all this stuff that's piling on you from the world. You just come down here and just listen. All we ask you to pay is pay attention.
That's right.
Costs nothing. What do I got hanging?
Ephesians, the armor of Yahweh.
Let's wait on that. Okay, so we're working with the unity. We're talking about Yahweh here. Yahweh is Yahweh one in pure spirit. Can't see him, can't touch him, no, nothing. And then he breaks himself down into the word or son, which is communicated to man, because he wants you to know something. He cares about you. And that's manifested with the people that you care about.
Yeah.
So take what the love you have. Just imagine the love that he gives for you, and that should be coming too. Vision, word communicated, and then this Yahweh 3, when it comes out into a physical body. Now, I was talking about water. Which I need something. Ooh, okay. Aldine's not wrong about that cardio. Woo! But you know, I was nervous to get up. I used to always be scared that, oh my God, they're gonna call on me. Now I want to be up here. I think it's great. All right, so water. We're just gonna take something, Romans 1:19 and 20, something natural in our everyday lives, and it's gonna show you Yahweh. It makes it easy for you. Go ahead, Romans 1:19.
Romans 1:19. Because that which may be known of Yahweh
That
is
which
man.
may be known of Yahweh, so you can know something and take that as a comfort because you see the pattern that repeats and repeats and repeats.
Is manifest in them.
It's manifested in them or in that, whatever you're taking to this, like the tree. Manifested in the tree, his purpose.
For Yahweh has showed it unto
He's
them.
going to show it to you.
For the invisible things of him.
Invisible things of him,
From the creation of the
from
world.
the creation of the world,
Are clearly seen.
are clearly seen.
Being understood by the things that are made.
There's so much in that verse. Like, yeah. Go ahead.
Even his eternal power and supernal nature, so they are without excuse.
And you'll be without excuse. You know, making those excuses once you get in here. Making those excuses once you get in here, you're gonna be like, oh, I can't come, I gotta do this, or I didn't sleep enough, or I don't look right, or whatever. I just get here.
Right.
It doesn't matter. All right. Water. 3 states of water. And it's on here. I think I want to write it. Okay, no, I'll just
Gives liquid and solid.
yep, right here. Water. So this is, so remember we're talking about Yahweh and his pattern. Yahweh is the pattern, and he's going to break himself down. That's what he gave to the children of Israel to build in the wilderness so that he could dwell with them.
Right.
That is him, it's the pattern of him. He is the tabernacle pattern, in principle. So, you have the most holy place, the holy place, and the court round about. There's 3 different parts, but it's all the one tabernacle, right? And we're talking about water. Well, let's go over here. Water has 3 states of existence. Just like Yahweh has 3 states of existence. Yahweh in his pure spirit state is going to like unto water, H2O's gaseous form, okay? So in its gaseous state, water, H2O, you can't see it. It's in the room, you have to have it to breathe, you have to have it to live.
Right,
It
right.
has to be in the air, otherwise you'll just choke. But you can't see it, can't touch it. It's incomprehensible and inscrutable, right? Okay. So once it's moving really fast all the time. It's warm. When stuff heats up, it starts moving fast. It's gonna break itself, it's gonna slow itself down into its second stage. And there's a whole lot more we can get. Nah, not today. It's gonna slow itself down, right? And come into its second state, the other state of being. Just like Yahweh broke himself down. He had to break himself down so that we could understand him with our brains. Because he is incomprehensible and inscrutable. He had to break himself down for us so that we can understand. So if you take the second form, which is Yahweh 2, Yahweh 2, and his visionary state, or in his creative state too, but he is seen in visions here. That's what the previous speaker was talking about. That's how he teaches mankind, is through visions, and he appears to them and tells them the right things and moves them to do things, and that's Yahweh too. So H2O slows itself down and it becomes a liquid, which can take on any shape or form you put it into. Maybe not shape or form, remember seeing the batter? Okay. And then it's going to break itself down even farther, and it's going to freeze and become something that you can hold in your hand. And that's what he did here. They were able to touch him back here. He washed their feet. He took bread and broke it for them. He fed them, and he died for them. Horrible, horrible. So that we could live. And then I'm gonna tie it all together. My favorite part. Stick with me. Oh, there we go. Yahweh Elohim Yahshua, we're talking about the same spirit. We're talking about H2O. Physical things in the world are going to show forth the spiritual things. Look at this. There's 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen in H2O, right? Yeah. H, A, O, H, O. 2 H's and an O.
Every third line.
Every third letter. The pattern goes by 3s. Ah, that's awesome. So that's what really got me at first. And it took a while for it to sink in, and I had to do it a few times. And I remember we went up to, I think it was Gates or something, and I really wanted my sister to come to class, and she wouldn't, so I cried about it. And they got me on the floor, and I talked about water, because that's the one thing I knew how to teach. And I cried about it at the end, because I was telling them how my sister wouldn't come to class. And then the next speaker got up, and he's like, just like that. Beginning with water, she's talking about water, and then she ended with water because she started crying. And that's how Yahweh works. He's going to declare the end from the beginning. It's going to be the same. And that's full circle what I was telling about the comfort. So, okay, I did that. Okay, so beginning at Moses. So whenever you start a story or a movie, do you start in the middle?
No?
No? You start at the beginning.
Right.
Because otherwise you're going to miss stuff and it's not going to make any sense. So we're going to start at the beginning. Well, the beginning. Okay. We're going to start with Moses. So on this chart, we have depicted quite a multitude of things. But what we're going to focus on right now is the trek of the children of Israel. Now, the children of Israel they started with Abraham. They are all descendants of Abraham, and we're all descendants of Abraham. But Abraham's seed was going to come down and be afflicted. It was told, Yahweh said it was going to happen. Can we get Abraham a promise too, please? So, what's going on right now, where we're going to pick it up, is they're in Israel. They came down here because there was a famine in the land, and they needed food, so they sold themselves into slavery so they could eat. This really happened. So, they're down here, they're being afflicted, they're in bondage, they're not having a great time. They're in a death-like state.
That's right.
So, what's Yahweh going to do about it?
Right in verse.
Yeah, go for it.
Exodus 2:23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came unto Yahweh by reason of their bondage.
Right. So they're upset down here. They're like, help us, save us out of here. We need some help. Just like right now, we need all the help we can get.
Yep.
And I feel bad for those people in the churches. Let me tell you what. Go ahead.
And Yahweh heard their groanings.
Yahweh hears you.
And
All you gotta do is talk to him. You just gotta talk to him in your mind, in your heart, and he'll answer you. He'll talk to you. Maybe not very loud or distinctive, but it'll happen. Go ahead.
And Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham. with
And
Isaac.
Elohim remembered the covenant he made with Abraham back here. He made him a promise. He's gonna keep it. Go ahead.
And Elohim looked upon the children of Israel, and Elohim had respect unto them.
He sees what they're going through. He's like, I got you. You're not gonna be in bondage forever. You're not gonna be in turmoil forever. We'll come get you. Go ahead.
Now it goes into Exodus 3 and 1 at the burning bush.
Okay, so
You want
no. What do you have, George?
Well, it's just saying,
The prompt.
Genesis 12,
Go ahead.
now Yahweh had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto
Yeah.
the land that I will show thee.
Yeah. So yeah. Go. Okay. Thank you, George. All right. So bondage, Israel, not a great time. Death. Okay. Remember the pattern. Death. This. If you can literally pick this tabernacle up and put it on here, court roundabout, holy place, most holy place. This is the trek of the children of Israel by the tabernacle pattern in principle.
That's right. Yep.
So, all right, death and bondage. Now, Moses was actually born in Egypt during the time of a death decree. Pharaoh saw that all these Israelites were just multiplying down here, and they're like, oh man, better kill some of them off, otherwise they're gonna overtake me. So he says to the Hebrew midwives to kill all the boys. Any boy. Go ahead.
Exodus
We're gonna get it
1,
in the book. We stay in the book
22.
because it proves what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. Go ahead.
1:22 of Exodus. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born you shall cast into the river.
Kill 'em
Every
all.
daughter you shall save.
Keep the girls though, because what are they worth? Alright, so death decree. Moses was born during the time of the death decree. And his mother hid him up until she couldn't hide him anymore. And then what happened, George? And then she made him an ark. Was there an ark made?
Yeah.
Later, but she couldn't make an ark. See how the pattern's going and going? So she made an ark of bulrushes, slimed it with pitch, put him in the reeds by the river, just so she could save his life, so he wouldn't die. You got anything for me?
Pick up where
No, I'm gonna keep going. So he, born during the time of death decree. We're talking about Moses, the first human to receive the name of Yahweh at this burning bush. He was born in Egypt during the time of the death decree. Now, all sorts of death happening down here. But what happened was Pharaoh's daughter was bathing in the river and heard the baby and had her handmaiden go get it out of the water for her, and then she kept it and raised it, and actually had his mother, Moses' mother, midwife him and suck it, and nurse him, and
Because he was Hebrew.
because he was Hebrew. Can we get that?
Yeah, it was 2 and 6. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold,
When
it
she
wept.
opened the what, thing that ark. Thank you. Yep.
And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children.
Yep. And then she's having compassion on him. Yahweh put that in her. Go ahead.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women?
So as Moses' sister is watching all this happen, and she's like, should I go get a Hebrew woman to watch this baby for you and bring it up? Go ahead.
That she may nurse the child for thee?
Yep.
And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go.
Yeah.
And the maid went and called the child's mother.
Yep. So Moses' own mother is nursing him and bringing him up until he gets of age where she's no longer needed. And then Moses grows up in the house of Pharaoh. So he knows all these traditions, all the customs, everything that's going on. And he knows he's a Hebrew. Right. So one day he sees an Egyptian going after some of his brethren, really his fellow Hebrews. And the Egyptians doing not good. Can you get it?
Yep.
2 and start at 11.
Yeah.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he
Moses
went
was
out,
grown. Okay.
went out unto his brethren, and look, on their
So he's
burdens.
walking around among the children of Israel down here, among the Hebrews.
And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew,
Saw one of his
brethren.
one of the Egyptians
And he
smote one
looked-
of his brethren, and he's like, hey.
And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
You're not gonna mess with my brother. You're out of here. He slew him, hit him in the sand. And then he got worried. He's like, oh man, someone saw, someone knows I did it. So what does he do? But he flees out of Egypt and he comes up into this wilderness of Sinai. Now, when he's up here, he becomes a shepherd, flock of Ruel. Jethro is what they changed it to, but it's Ruel. So he's tending the sheep up here. Okay, keep in mind where he came from. He came from Egypt, which was the most wealthiest, awesomest place to be at the time. It was the happening spot.
Unless you were a slave.
Unless you were a slave. Right, you're right. And so down here in Egypt, they think shepherds are like dirt on my shoe. They're an abomination, like, don't touch me, shepherd, stinky shepherd. Like, it's a whole thing. So he flees out of here and becomes one. See how he's breaking down too?
Yep.
Woo. Alright. Name of the bush. So he's tending his father-in-law's sheep behind this mountain, and he's gonna receive the name of Yahweh. Go ahead.
3 and 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came unto the mountain of Elohim, even unto Horeb.
Yep.
And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him.
Now the angel of Yahweh is going to appear unto him. Excuse me. Unto him
in a flame of fire,
in a flame of fire.
out of the midst of the bush.
Out of the midst of the bush.
And he looked, and behold, the bush was burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
Okay, so this is a vision, Yahweh 2. This is a vision that Yahweh is giving to Moses, and Moses only. You were back here with this, you wouldn't be seeing the same thing. Go ahead.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside.
And now I'm going to turn, I'm sorry. The readers are the most interrupted people ever. So he's going to turn aside, okay? He's going to turn aside to see why this bush is burning, but it's not being consumed. And so that goes going to turn around, and you can put that right on you. If you want to know things and do your own homework and investigate, so you really care, you think this is awesome and you want to learn about it, you have to turn aside. There's many thoughts in your mind that you have to get rid of in order to accept this in. You can't have it all. You got to get rid of some of it to get the other. So he's going to turn aside in his mind and pay attention to what's happening at this bush. Go ahead.
4. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush.
So Yahweh sees him. Okay, he's looking. He's paying attention. He's ready to receive what I have to give him. Go ahead.
And said, Moses, Moses.
Yep.
And he said, Here am I.
Right here.
And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Okay, so this is also, remember how I said you can take the tabernacle pattern and lay it on here, right? Go around about, most holy place, most holy place. This wilderness, where we're at right now in the story, is the holy place part of the trek of the children of Israel.
Right.
What'd you just read? Read it again for me, that last verse. Take off the shoes.
Said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Is holy ground. It's all holy ground. So
That's
we're
right.
still in the tabernacle here.
Yep.
In the track of the children of Israel. But we haven't gotten, there's more. Okay. Anyways, so he's gonna receive the name.
6. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of thy father.
So he's talking to Moses in his visionary state, because we can't see this, hear this, smell this, or touch Yahweh in this pure spirit state. He has to break himself down and show you things in your mind. This is where it all happens. Go ahead. He's gonna give Moses something.
I'm going to drop it down to 13.
Do it.
And Moses said unto Elohim,
Yep.
Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel.
Okay, again, sorry. When he was down here, he knows the customs of Egypt. He knows there's a God, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. So many polytheistic nations, what it's called. Go ahead. When I go unto the children of unto Pharaoh,
And shall say unto them,
Yep.
The Elohim of your father hath sent me unto you.
Yep.
And they shall say to me, What is his name?
what's his name? Because we got Ra and La and Fa and whatever. What's his name?
What shall I say unto them?
What am I gonna tell them what your name is? Go ahead.
And Elohim said unto Moses, Aya, Asher, Aya.
Aya, Asher, Aya. I will be what I will to be. And in the King James it says I am that I am, but Popeye's that, and I'm that. It's not Yahweh. That's I will be what I will to be. Back here, he will to be a burning bush. Okay? Go ahead. So he gives him the name. I got it, sorry. So sorry. So he gives him the name, okay? He gives him the name of Yahweh. We didn't even get there, did we?
Not yet.
Okay, sorry. Go on.
Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Aya, Asher, Aya, or I will be, have sent me unto you. And Elohim said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel,
This is what you're going to tell him.
Yahweh Elohim.
Yahweh Elohim. I'm sorry, I need this. It's so hot. Yahweh Elohim is what you're going to tell them back there. You're going to release, I'm going to bring my people out of this death, dark, depression, horrible state of mind down here. And I have raised thee up for to show my power. Oh, jeez, there's so much. I don't know where we're going to go. All right, so Moses gets the name. He was tasked. You're going down, and actually Moses tried to fight it. He's like, I don't know, who am I to do this? I'm slow of speech and tongue, and I can't talk good. I stutter. Why me? And Yahweh's actually gets a little mad. He's like, you're gonna do it because I said you're gonna do it. What does that sound familiar with Jonah? Jonah was supposed to go and preach to Nineveh.
Yeah.
He didn't want to. He's like, no, I'm gonna go this way. All right, you want a big storm and get thrown over, and you're gonna get eaten by a fish, and I'll spit you out where you're supposed to go. That's how it works. You don't make any decisions, and that's a comfort too. You don't have to make any. Just let it happen. That's not. I can say it real well. But I'm letting it happen. Is okay. Anyway, that's one of the things you have to turn away from. You can't do anything. You can do things, but you gotta surrender. Okay, go ahead.
Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob, hath sent me unto you.
Okay, stop, please. Thank you. All right. So Moses is tasked to go down to Egypt to tell Pharaoh to let his people go. And then he. Okay, sorry, I lost him. Okay, and then it all happens. All the 10 plagues of Egypt. I'm just going to skip over that, death and all that stuff. But he basically knocks down every single one of their gods down here with those plagues. Just to prove that he's power. That's him. He's the only one that could have done that. No one else could do that. He needed to save his people from their sins. Sound familiar? Joshua? Same guy. Okay. So he's gonna save his people down here and bring them up to the Red Sea. And then even after all those plagues and everything happened down there, and he stomped out every single god that the Egyptians made up in their minds, they got to the Red Sea, and they're like, what? There weren't enough graves in Egypt? You're going to bring us out here to die? Because the host of Pharaoh's coming on my tail. Like, what are we going to do? And they're freaking out. Do you have that? You want to get that, Ernie?
14 and 13 of Exodus.
Yes.
And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh, which he will show you to you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall see them again no more.
No more. Fear not. Stand still.
Yahweh shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace.
Okay. So he brings him to the Red Sea, and he actually ends up telling Moses to raise his rod, and Yahweh parts the sea. Okay? And then they resurrect death. They're buried in the Red Sea. Remember what we're doing here with this tabernacle pattern. Death, burial in the laver, resurrection with the horn of anointing oil. Death-like state. Bondage, bad. Darkness, thank you. And Egypt actually means black, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it means black. So, death, and then they're buried in this Red Sea. They have to go through it to get into the wilderness. And then they resurrect into the wilderness. Death, burial, resurrection. Death, burial, resurrection. Now, we're going to move on to this section when they're in the wilderness of Sinai. So they get through all that. They were just saved out of their bondage by the word of Yahweh. And actually, you'll come to find out if you keep coming back, he was physically with them there. And the previous speaker touched on that. I need to slow down. It happened so fast. Okay. He was back there as this Joshua, or Yahoshua is what they call him back there. He was in the flesh with them back there. And the day that I took them by the hand, can you get me that? In the day that I took them by the hand.
Jeremiah 31.
So, he was with them back here. Previous speaker said it too. He's with you right now. And then the song said it too.
Jeremiah 31.
For Yahshua abides in you.
I got a good verse.
Let's
to
have
say
it.
that.
I like verses.
1 Corinthians 10, 1 through 4.
Alright.
Moreover, brethren, I would not, you should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink that same spiritual drink, where they drank of that spiritual rock that led them. And that rock was Yahshua.
Yeah, that rock was Yahshua. Do you have Yahushua?
No, but I have the other one in Jeremiah.
Let's go.
Jeremiah 31:32. Not according to the covenant they made with their fathers, in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them. We'll just,
Okay. By the hand.
what I just put, in the day that I took them by
And
the
the day,
hand.
I'm sorry, I
let
missed
them-
that.
It's okay.
Okay, okay. So he took them by the hand up here. Anyway, we're getting off track. So in the holy place part of this trek of the children of Israel, this is where Moses is gonna get called up this mountain. And he actually goes up this mountain 3 different times. He makes 3 different trips. Why? Have you seen the pattern of 3s?
Yep.
3 principal trips. Thank you. So he goes up there, and receives the vision. Can we go ahead and get it? The first trip?
Exodus, you want Exodus 24:9, then went up Moses.
Sure.
Okay. Then went up Moses and Aaron, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel.
They saw him. They saw him in this word or this visionary state. They were having a vision.
And there was under his feet as it were a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were the body of heaven in its clearness.
Okay, so when they get out here in this wilderness, they're told to wait here and wash themselves and wait. And Moses is going to go up, bring some witnesses. He's going to go up and receive and talk to Yahweh basically and get instruction on what they're supposed to do next. So he goes up, receives a vision, and then Yahweh shows him this tabernacle pattern and explains that it's me. It's the open and close, that's Yahweh. And so he tells them that you're gonna make one according to the pattern.
25.
25 and 8, and let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell
So
among
he
them.
can dwell among them. That's what I'm talking about. He wants to be with his people. And make it exactly like I showed you in the mountain. It has to be just that way. If it's not, then no, it's not gonna.
I mean, one more too, that ties in with Holly.
Yep.
24 and 12, and it says, come up to thee in the mount, and I will give thee the tables of stone and the law and commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them.
That you may, so I can teach you, so I can dwell with you. Sorry. Alright, so. So, we're in the wilderness of Sinai. They are given that 10 Commandment law. They are given this tabernacle. They are offered a way to escape the wages of sin. Thank you. So if they couldn't keep this law back here, which they couldn't, nobody can. If they couldn't keep it, they had to make sacrifices.
Right.
They also made more sacrifices that weren't just about death. There were some other sacrifices too. That's another lecture. So they were to make sacrifices so that they would not die or be stoned to death, because that's one of the punishments of breaking the law back here. And Yahweh provided them a way not only to dwell with them, but also to be saved. Just like He's providing me a way to be saved literally right now. And that's why we're here. So they're in the wilderness of Sinai, they tarry there, they're there for, 40 years? So there's also a pattern with the tabernacle it's not just 1, 2, 3, it goes deeper. There's the altar of sin sacrifice, there's the brazen laver, and then the horn of holy anointing oil.
Right.
And then the next step is this holy place where we're at in the children of Israel right now, right? And there's a principle of 40 in here. So death, burial, resurrection, 40. Death, burial, resurrection, 40. Because we're in the holy place. And someone else can go deeper in that. I'm not going to do it right now. After that, it's 40 years after they're in the wilderness, right? So most of the people that came out of here are not going to go over. This is again going to the what I started with the many are chosen, many are called, few are chosen.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be like, oh, we're so special down here. We're grateful that we have this gift, and we want to share it.
Right.
That's why we're here too. That's why I dragged you over here. So. So they're in the wilderness with the principle of 40. And after that, after the 40 years, most of the children of Israel that were down here in bondage aren't alive, and so their children, or even if they are, they couldn't keep the law, and they didn't have the heart in them to keep the law. They were just running amok.
Right.
Like the world. Running amok. Well, I think I want to be a strawberry. I'll be a cat tomorrow.
Right.
Craziness. They're running amok. And if you can compare it to your life, literally everything goes by the pattern. If you open your mind up to receive it, and everything, it's crazy. The tree. That was really pretty. All right, so they're in the wilderness 40 years. The children of Israel had not the heart to keep it. I mean, it doesn't say in there that the children were more obedient. So like the children of Israel. Yeah. The second generation, they wanted to obey Yahweh. It's in there, right?
Well, your little ones that shall be a prey shall make you, is what I remember. And they were just.
All right. Well, you can test this is school. Check it out for yourself. Find it. So I'm pretty sure I read it somewhere. So after that, they're gonna go through another veil. Holy place. Holy place. Next step, it's the second veil. First veil, second veil. Waters are dividing this track, right? The curtains in here are dividing this track. Okay? Oh, and they're gonna go through, take everything here and take it up into the Canaan land, the promised land. Right back, see, he told Abraham that his seed would be blessed. And have a great land and multiply into a land flowing with milk and honey. How sweet is a honeycomb? Has anybody ever eaten a honeycomb? Man, it's good. It's so sweet. It's totally too sweet. But imagine the sweetness in principle of finally coming out from this horrible, horrible state of existence into this lush, green, awesome place where you know all the things about Yahweh. Just hold it onto your mind. It's just, whew. So, most holy place, that's where Yahweh dwells. It's got the Ark of Covenant, other things in there. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I think I'm done. But this is this. You can lay this on this too.
That's right.
It's just awesome. And you gotta keep coming because the more you do, the awesomer and awesomer it gets. And it is the rest. Did you get the yoke one minute? Did you read that one yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get the armor, please.
Ephesians 6.
Guess I'm not. So, most holy place. Truck, pattern, all the pattern. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to with us right now. World's crazy, people are running amok, anxiety, depression, crazy stuff. And people often ask me when I tell them about class, they ask me about like, why does God let horrible things happen? Why do babies die of cancer? And I'm
Right. Man.
like, man, this is the God of this world. He's doing it. It's not Yahweh. Yahweh don't want to kill anybody. I mean, if he says he's going to do it, he does it, because they weren't supposed to touch this ark. And even though when they were taking it through the river Jordan, someone tried to, it was tipping over because they didn't listen to how they were supposed to do it. They got an idea in their head how they should do it, and they did it their way. It almost falls. Some guy goes to try and catch it. He tells them if anyone touches this, they'll die. What happened to this guy?
Dead.
He's dead. Because Yahweh, you have to do, Yahweh has to do what he says he's going to do.
Yeah, Liz.
All right, you got what I want?
Ephesians 6 and 10.
All right, thanks.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh.
Be strong in Yahweh. So
And-
right now, I'm so sorry. Right now, with all the crap that's happening in our jobs and bodies and all the things we have to do to live right now, this is where you want to be. Is I look so forward, and this happens to me lately too. Like, I hold this so precious to me that if I have anything to do before class, I start to panic a little that I'm going to be late because I don't want to miss anything. It happened to me today, and it's just horrible. Everything right now, like he's on us so bad. Go ahead.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in Yahweh
Be strong in Yahweh.
and in the power of his might.
And then the power of his might. Go ahead.
Put on the whole armor of Yahweh.
Now he's got armor for you to wear. You don't have to do it alone. Keep going.
That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world.
Of this world, the rules of the darkness of this world. How about that government? You guys like it? Is it awesome? Go ahead.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Spiritual wickedness in high places. Was Pharaoh in a high place?
Yes.
Yahweh put him there, didn't he?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh.
Now you're going to have some armor. You're going to have something to protect you. Keep going.
That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand.
Yep.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth.
So you're going to have your loins girded about with truth. Truth's a good word. I really like that word. I don't want people to lie to me.
Right.
So we're going to have, go read that again for me, Leanne.
Having your loins girt about with truth.
We're going to have some truth. Our slogan is speak the truth. So check. Go ahead, keep going.
And having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Breath.
Breastplate.
Yep. Say it again for me, please.
Breastplate of righteousness.
Righteousness. Oh, I don't want to spell it.
RIGHTEOUSNESS.
N-E-S-S. Thank you. My brain stopped working for a second there. Go ahead. Righteousness is a good word, right?
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
The gospel of peace, or like it's also called the glad tidings. Gospel of peace. So are we gonna? Peace has been a thing today. Peace. That's a great word. Keep going.
Above all, taking the shield of faith.
Shield of faith. Now, can you get faith for me, George? The substance. Faith. And how great is it that it's not blind?
That's right.
How great is it that you are a believer because you can see it for yourself? That's some awesome stuff right there. Keep going for me. In Ephesians.
Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
The shield of faith is gonna, if you hold on to it, it's gonna help you. You just throw everything away. You don't need that. Give me that shield of faith, and you're gonna be fine. Keep going. Or is that it?
And take the helmet of salvation.
Oh, there's a helmet.
Yeah.
You want to protect your head, don't you? Helmet of salvation. Go ahead.
And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh.
Now that's a whole other lecture too. You gotta keep coming back. Say that one again for me, please.
And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh.
Spirit. Now we're talking about that word, right? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to read it one more time. Sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh. Word of Yahweh. Word of Yahweh. Okay.
You want faith?
Faith,
Yeah, so faith.
complete trust or confidence in something or someone.
You ever have that in anybody? When you do, it's pretty special. We can have that with Yahweh because that's what he says he's gonna do and he keeps doing it.
Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Things that aren't seen, the substance of things hoped for immortal glorification in the new earth state. Life, there is life after death, and we learn it every year because what happens? Whew. We got summer. Summer's awesome. We love summer. We play outside. And then you have fall. Stuff starts to go dormant or die, right? Leaves fall off the trees. And then we up here are lucky enough, I love all the seasons. We're lucky enough that we get snow and everything gets buried. Follow me? Death. It's like a principle of death, right? And then the spring, what happens? They even, what are the purple ones you got? Those crocuses? They come up through the snow. Is that a resurrection? Is that life after death? Hell yeah, it is. Sorry. Yeah, it is. All right, go ahead.
For by it the elders obtained a good report.
A good report. So there's something tangible there for you. Go ahead.
Through faith, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Yahweh, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear.
Right? So not everything is as it appears to be too.
And I'll drop down to 6.
Yep.
But without faith, it is impossible to please him.
Without faith, you can't please him. If I don't trust that you said you're going to come to my house at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, you don't come at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, I don't even hear from you until next week when I see you. I'm not going to have any faith in you. You know what I mean? Well, you can have faith in this. You have to do your own homework. You have to work a little bit, even though you don't have to do works, but he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. I'm not saying my life's cake because it's not, but I got this,
That's right.
and this is awesome. And I never cried up here because I'm sad. Is there more?
For he that cometh to Yahweh must believe that he is,
You have to believe that he is.
and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him.
There it is. All right, I'm just grateful I have anything to say about our Creator. Happy to be here. All praises go to Yahweh through His Son Yahshua.
Thank you, Brittany. For our next speaker, it's a pleasure to call upon the Dean of the Arkport Branch, Dr. Bonnie Snicker.
8 minutes.
7 minutes.
The quickest minutes you'll ever see. Go to scripture reading, please. Have you class so far? It's been wonderful. I'm happy and glad to be here. Always happy to testify to the things I've learned in this great teacher. Scripture reading, please.
Okay, Isaiah 53. Who hath believed our report?
Now, who has believed our report?
And to whom
This
is
is
the
what
arm?
he's asking. Who has believed our report? Because the girls have been giving you a report up here. And who has believed this report? Read on.
And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed?
And to whom is the arm of Yahweh revealed? I thought for sure Justin would show this arm. I might, I don't know, we'll see.
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant.
And grow up before him as a tender plant. And did you talk about, read the rest of that verse?
And as a root out of the dry ground.
And as a root out of dry ground. Wasn't you talking about the roots down in here? See? And that it was hidden in the earth. And that's a type of Yahshua the Messiah. That's that third part. If you're looking at a tree, Yahweh, Yahweh, Elohim, Yahshua would be the third part. That's the root part of that tree. Would be Yahshua down the earth. He's the one that came down into the flesh, ain't that right?
Yeah.
All right? And look at, he'll grow up as a tender herb, isn't that right?
Yep.
You know, a herb is so tender. When they're first coming up, if it rains, they'll get knocked off. They'll get knocked out of the soil. But it shows you the power of Yahweh. Some of them make it. Herbs are tender plants. Some plants are tender when they're coming up. Isn't that right? But there's so much power in the life that's in it, that up it comes and is stationary. He's gonna grow up as a tender herb,
That's
see?
right.
And as a root out of dry ground. Have you ever had a root? You know, first of all, nothing grows very good in dry ground. But he did. You know, this was dry all the way through here, because the gospel wasn't preached on it, because the gospel's like it under the rain back here. But all this ages, these ages and dispensations back here, that was dry ground. And he grew up through that whole time as a root in dry ground. And he remained. And then on the day of Pentecost, see, that rain, he causes that rain to come forth, and then it's that root out of dry ground. All of a sudden, it's gonna get leaves. And you've seen that happen, a root out of dry ground. All of a sudden, the rain will come and it gets leaves on it. Isn't that right? See? Read.
He hath no form nor comeliness,
Uh-huh,
and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
that's right. All right, I want to do one thing. Down in here, she was talking about the trek of the children of Israel. Let's get John 1:29. See, before you do that, get me John 5, I think it's 47, beginning of Moses.
John 5,
46.
46.
46. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me.
So this is what Yahshua the Messiah is saying when he's walking around. And one of the things our founder used to say, and if you read transcripts, he'd say, well, he ought to be right about the stuff he says once in a while.
Yeah.
Right? All right, so this is what he said. Read it again, please, George.
For had you believed Moses,
Had you believed Moses, and most of us that grew up in Christianity or were affiliated with any kind of religion or anything in this world, we didn't even know anything about Moses.
Right.
We didn't know Moses showed forth Yahshua or the things that Moses wrote in the Bible. Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. And we didn't know those things were pointing out Yahshua the Messiah. Isn't that right? Read.
for had you believed Moses,
Had you believed Moses, and look at these witnesses that are given in this teaching, they're to cause you to believe. And it's him showing himself over and over and over again. And that's how he makes you believe it.
Yep.
You're not forced into believing it.
Right.
You take it in, you weigh it, you understand? You're not forced into believing this stuff.
Right.
You weigh it, you decide. Read.
you would have believed me, for he wrote of me.
See, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed what I had to say. Because Moses wrote of me. See? Well, down here, this is one of the things Moses wrote about. Down in here, there was a death of a lamb. And that lamb had to die before the children of Israel could be delivered up out of Egypt. So that there was a death lamb down here. Isn't that right? That was the first Passover. All right, read. Read John 1:29.
1:29. The next day, John seeth Yahshua.
So you come over here to Yahshua. So you got the children of Israel. This is what Moses wrote. Then you come over here and you got something that Yahshua's doing. Right? Read on.
and
And
saith,
this is right here. John's talking about Yahshua coming to the baptism. You understand that? Read.
John seeth Yahshua coming unto
John
him,
seeth Yahshua coming unto him. Read.
and saith, Behold, the Lamb of Yahweh.
Behold the Lamb of Yahweh. Well, that's a funny thing to call somebody. Why would you say that about some guy with a scraggly beard and walking along? You understand why would you say that? This is why. Because, see, he was identifying him as this lamb down in here that taketh away the sin of the world. Did he say that? Read it.
Yep.
Read.
Behold, the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away the sin of the world.
Behold the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away the sin of the world. Well, how do you know he taketh away the sin of the world? Well, back in here, and you look at this tabernacle pattern. See, that death angel was going to pass over so that they could live. Down in here, this was the altar of sin sacrifice. All of Israel had to offer up a sin sacrifice. You understand that? There was 2 sacrifices, lamb sacrifices, offered up every single day. Every day, a lamb had to die. A lamb had to die in the morning. A lamb had to die in the evening to take away the sin of Israel. You understand that? So this lamb died back there to take away the sin of Israel. So when Yahshua comes in and he's pointed out as the Lamb of Yahweh, he's going to die to take away the sin. And not just the sin of Israel, see? Give me, I want you to answer this first, because I know but I'm gonna go across that chart first. I got 2 minutes. Give me, 1 Timothy, 1:15. All right, so look at that, look over here. So in this tabernacle pattern which she was talking about, see, you got that death of the lamb, two lambs every day. That lamb died so that Israel could live. You understand that? That lamb died so that Israel could live. This lamb died so that Isaac could live back here. Abraham was told to offer up Isaac, and the lamb was caught in the thickets by him. And this lamb right here died so that Isaac could live.
Yep.
So that lamb died so that Isaac could live. You understand that?
Yep.
And so Yahshua the Messiah comes in. He's pointed out, behold the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away the sin of the world. He's gonna, right there, this was before he was baptized. It was when he was 30 years old. He was baptized, just going into his ministry. You understand that? So he's going into his ministry. And what's gonna happen? That lamb's gonna die in that ministry. So that 3.5 years, he's gonna tell them about, I must go away and suffer many things. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be buried. I'm gonna resurrect on the 3rd day. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
He's preaching one to them. All right, read.
Go ahead.
1 Timothy 1:15.
Read.
This is a faithful saying.
Now this is a faithful saying. She talked about faith, ain't that right? Full of faith.
Yep.
This is a faithful saying. That's what it means to be. What do you think faithful means? It's full of faith. It's full of witnesses. And Hebrews tells you that your faith is a witness. See, it's evidence of things not seen.
That's right.
So all these witnesses, this saying is full of faith. Every single thing that happened before Yahshua the Messiah came in and died is testifying that he's going to go through this death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and pour out that Holy Spirit. And everything that happens after is pointing out that Yahshua the Messiah is going to come in and go through a death, a burial, and a resurrection. That's his story, folks.
That's right.
That's the story we tell.
Yep.
Read.
This is a faithful saying.
This is a faithful saying. Read on it.
Worthy of all acceptation.
And it's worthy of you accepting this. See, you do have something to accept out of you. You have something to receive. You can't just agree with something without knowing it. We want you to agree with Yahshua because you've seen the witnesses. You've seen him work through law and testimony. Read on.
That Yahshua the Messiah.
This is a faithful saying that Yahshua the Messiah came into this world. Read.
To save sinners.
To save sinners. That's what he came into the world to do. To save sinners. With those few words of encouragement, I hope somebody got something.
Thank you. That concludes class for today. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. And folks online, thanks for studying with us. We're here at the Best Restaurant Inn, 1 Canastee Square in Mount New York, on Sundays from 10 to noon, and on Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. All are welcome. Please rise for the doxology. Doxology is taken from the last 2 verses of the book of Jude. Now unto him who is able to keep you from falling, and to present you faultless in the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise Elohim our Savior, through Yahshua the Messiah our Sovereign, who on glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both before all time, now and ever. Let us all say.
Hallelujah. All right, guys, before we run off, I'm going to go get the t-shirts out of my truck for you guys.